In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Aorus Master 16 from Gigabyte. And when it comes down to it, this thing's offering more than enough performance across the board. This could definitely replace your desktop PC for sure. I've had a chance to test this laptop out for the past few days, and I gotta say my favorite thing here is the display. What we've got is a 16-inch OLED panel up to 240 Hz with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. Obviously, with a resolution like that, we've got a 16 by 10 aspect ratio display, and it does look absolutely amazing. Triple zone RGB backlit keyboard with 1.7 millimeters of travel, glass covered trackpad, and this is actually one of the best trackpads that I've ever tested on a laptop. Quad speaker system, supports Dolby Atmos, and all the way around this thing, we've got Gigabyte's Dark Tide RGB. And you can see we've got that Aorus logo that kind of lights up on the table back here. Gigabyte is offering a couple different GPU variants with this laptop over on their website, but the overall design is going to be the same. You're going to get the same keyboard with 1.7 millimeters of travel, and it does sound pretty decent. All the RGB on this laptop is fully controllable from Gmate. We'll take a look at that in just a second. The trackpad here is glass covered. It's massive, for a trackpad on a 16-inch laptop, and it's one of the smoothest that I've ever tested. One new piece of software that Gigabyte is offering with all of their Aorus laptops is Gmate. This will allow you to control every aspect of the laptop from the RGB, brightness. We've got OLED care here because obviously we've got an OLED panel. There's different performance settings here in Gmate. You can control the RGB, fans. Basically anything you need to do with this laptop can be done with Gmate. And there's a lot of AI built in. Everybody's kind of pushing AI, something that I really haven't messed around with on this setup here because for me, this is more of a gaming laptop. But that doesn't mean this thing won't handle LLMs if that's what you want to throw at it. When it comes to I/O, over on the right-hand side, we've got a 3.5mm audio combo jack, micro SD card reader, Thunderbolt 4 that does run at a 40 gig protocol, and one full-size USB 3.2 Gen 2 port. Moving over to the left-hand side, we've got a power input, Gigabit Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, another full-size USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, and a Thunderbolt 5 port. Unfortunately, I don't have any Thunderbolt 5 docks to test with this unit, something I'm working on getting, especially Thunderbolt 5 eGPU, so keep an eye out on the channel. I did want to pull the bottom off and just take a look at the internals here. The cooling system looks great for what we've got. We've got a pretty powerful setup here. Dual channel SODIMM RAM. You can upgrade this if you want to, but this unit came with 32 gigs out of the box. And this supports two M.2 SSDs. One is going to be PCIe 4.0. The other is PCIe 5.0. This did come with the PCIe 4.0 drive installed. So we're still going to get some decent speeds, but not 5.0 speeds yet. As for the overall specs, this version of the Master 16 is powered by the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX. 24 cores, 24 threads, 36 megs of cache, up to 5.4 gigahertz. Graphics are handled by the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080 laptop GPU, 16 gigs of GDDR7, and this will boost up to 175 watts. You can add up to 64 gigs of DDR5 at 5600. Running in dual channel here, I've got 32 gigs with this unit. 16-inch, 140 Hz OLED display with a resolution of 2560 by 1600. Quad speakers, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4. We've got a 90 watt-hour battery here, and you can charge this from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes flat. And out of the box, it's running Windows 11. The first thing I did with this laptop was just run a few benchmarks, and here we have Geekbench 6 coming in with a single core of 2,990, multi-core of 19,394. It's definitely nothing to scoff at, and I figured that the Geekbench scores would be a bit higher, but when I moved over to Cinebench, I was really impressed. Single core over there, 131, beating everything on the list here from the Apple M1 Max, M1 Ultra, and so on and so on. And as for multi-core performance, 2068 with R24. These were some phenomenal numbers coming out of this CPU. Now it's time to check out some GPU performance using 3D Mark. We've got Steel Nomad, and with this, we got a total score of 5,121, right there at 51.21 FPS. And the final one I ran here was 3D Mark Time Spy, 20,840. Graphics score up there at 21,861. Just taking a look at these synthetic benchmarks, this thing's definitely putting down some good power on the GPU and CPU. But now it's time to get into some real-world gaming to see what we can really do on this thing. First game we have here is Cyberpunk 2077, 2560, 1600 Ultra with no DLSS. So I completely disabled it there, but we're at that Ultra preset. No ray tracing yet, because, I mean, even with the RTX 5080, of course it's a laptop variant, we'll need a lot of DLSS, or we'll need some multi-frame gen if we want to take, let's say, ray tracing to Ultra here. But at that native 1600p Ultra settings, getting an average of around 72 FPS. Of course, you can get much more out of this, and I did want to test this with a little bit of ray tracing. So now we're sitting at 2560, 1600, ray tracing Ultra with DLSS multi-frame gen set to X4. Seeing an average over 140 FPS, and I gotta say, I mean, even with frame gen on here on this OLED, the game looks beautiful with ray tracing set to Ultra. And this is the only game that I'm going to be using any kind of frame gen with in this video, and you definitely need it if you want to take that ray tracing up on this game. You can get away with a lot of DLSS at ray tracing medium. You can get a little over 80 FPS, but you're not at that native 1600p. Next game we have is Doom: The Dark Ages. We're at 2560 by 1600. Nightmare preset with DLSS set to quality. And to tell you the truth, I would probably take DLSS to balanced or just go down to Ultra settings. Getting real close to going under 60 in some cases, but it did keep above it. This is just a really hard game to run. There's God of War Ragnarok, and with this we don't need DLSS, we don't need any frame gen. We can just take this all the way up to 2560 by 1600 Ultra and get an average of 92 FPS. I'm totally content with the way it's set up right now, but if you wanted more out of it, we've still got DLSS, and this game also supports DLSS frame generation. And the final game I wanted to test here was Oblivion Remastered. I still think that the devs can do more to make this work better on different systems, especially with something like an RTX 5080. I think we should be getting a little more out of it. We're at 2560, 1600 Ultra with DLSS set to balanced, and originally I went into this with DLSS set to quality, but as soon as I moved over to this area here, it fell on its face. We were only seeing an average of around 56, so I needed a little more out of it. Just dropping it a bit to that balance preset does work out pretty decently. The last thing I wanted to talk about here were CPU and GPU temps. I'm in game mode, and with that, we're using the stock game mode fan curves. I haven't adjusted anything. We've got full control over both of the fans here, and I think tweaking this may help out just a bit because our average CPU temps with AAA gaming were 83 degrees Celsius. Our average GPU temps were 73. But the maximum recorded CPU temp was 101, so we did hit thermal throttle, and that was with Cinebench R24. Kind of a given there. I mean, it runs the test for 10 minutes, and we've got those 24 cores maxed out. And the maximum recorded GPU temps were 84 degrees Celsius. So it's definitely not horrible, getting a little warmer than I'd like. But again, we are using those pre-made fan curves, and I think we could do a bit better. So overall, not a bad setup, and keep in mind, with the Aorus Master 16, you can pick this up with the RTX 5090. Not sure if they upgrade the cooling system over there or not, but it's using that same CPU that we have here. So we'll see the same kind of CPU performance, but you'll get a nice little bump on that GPU. I do like the overall design. RGB does look really good, but my favorite thing here is the display. 140 hertz, 1 millisecond response time, OLED panel here does look great. I mean, we've got vivid colors, super deep blacks, and it does look really good. But in the end, I mean, it's up to you. If you need something to replace desktop PC, this could definitely do it. I mean, it's putting down more than enough power, but you could always go with something a little less expensive, a little lower end, and still see good gaming performance and have a great time with it on the go. But if you're interested in learning a little more about the Aorus Master 16, I will leave links in the description. You can head over to the official website. I think they're offering this over on Best Buy and Amazon also. I'll have a look and I'll put links down there. But if there's anything else you want to see running on this laptop, just let me know in the comments below. I wouldn't mind making another video. And like always, thanks for watching.